Hey everyone! Today, we're going to crack the code on narrative writing. We're going to break down the exact structure that examiners love to see, how to use language that really pops, and most importantly, how to write a story that gets you those top marks. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get clear on what narrative writing actually is. Then, I'll walk you through the 5-paragraph structure that is an absolute game changer. After that, we'll look at the language tricks that make your writing stand out, put it all together by writing a story, and finish up with a super handy checklist. Okay, let's dive right in. When an exam paper asks you to write a narrative, what are they really looking for? Because, it's not just about telling any old story. It's about hitting some very specific points. At its core, a narrative is a fictional story. It's something you've made up. But it can't just be a random chain of events. It needs a clear plot, which means there has to be some kind of problem or conflict. And crucially, it needs that big turning point, the climax, and an ending that actually feels like an ending. And listen up, because this is probably the biggest mistake students make. Your exam story is not a real-life incident. You should avoid starting with something like, "Let me tell you about something that happened to me." The whole point is to show the examiner that you can craft and control a story from scratch. These right here, these are the mark killers. Writing about something that actually happened, having no clear structure, a story that just kind of wanders along with no big moment, these will cost you. And a huge one is wasting your word count on boring descriptions instead of using powerful language. You're basically just leaving marks on the table. All right, so how do we avoid all those traps? Easy. We use a blueprint. And for exam stories, the 5-paragraph structure is your best friend. It's safe, it's effective, and it works every time. I want you to think of your story like you're climbing a mountain. You start at the bottom with the exposition, that's the setup, then you climb up through the rising action, building the tension, until you reach the very top, the climax. After that, you come down the other side with the falling action, and finally arrive at your destination, the resolution. That journey is your plot. So paragraph 1, your exposition. This is where you set the scene, you introduce your character, the setting, but please don't waste half a page describing the weather. The real key here is to start close to the action and drop a little hint about the problem to get your reader hooked right away. Next up, rising action. This is where you start to crank up the tension. Something has to happen, something has to change. And here's a pro tip. Start using shorter, punchier sentences. It's a super simple but incredibly effective way to build suspense and make things feel more frantic. And now we've reached the summit, the climax. This needs to be the single most intense, most dramatic moment in your entire story. A huge decision is made, a big event happens, and things will never be the same again. Seriously, a strong climax is where you can scoop up a ton of marks. Okay, so after that big explosion of action in the climax, the falling action is all about the immediate aftermath. What happens right after that big decision? Here, you want to slow things down a bit. Let your character and your reader catch their breath and process what just happened. And finally, we have the resolution. This is where you wrap everything up. But don't just end it abruptly. The secret to a truly memorable ending is to include a little bit of emotional reflection. What did the character learn? How have they changed? That's the stuff that sticks with the reader. Okay, so you've got the structure. That's awesome. But that's really only half the job. To get into those top mark bands, you have to power up your writing. If the structure is the skeleton, then language is the soul of your story. Think of these as the tools in your writer's toolbox. Let me show you what I mean. This is the golden rule. Show, don't tell. I was scared just tells the reader an emotion. It's flat. But fear crawled up my spine like icy fingers. Now that makes the reader actually feel it. That's the difference between a pass and a top grade.
Check these out. These are your absolute secret weapons. A simile, like saying something is like an impatient visitor. It just paints such a clear picture, right? Or a personification, where the storm pressed against the windows. Suddenly the storm feels alive and maybe a little bit angry. And don't forget punctuation. Short sentences. A knock. Slow. Deliberate. That totally builds suspense. A dash creates drama. This isn't just about writing words. It's about crafting a feeling for your reader. This isn't just about writing words. It's about crafting a feeling for your reader.
Enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually put this into practice. We're going to write a little story together, piece by piece, based on the theme of a frightening experience. All right, enough theory. The best way to learn this stuff is to actually do it. So right now, we're going to build a story from the ground up, step by step. using that blueprint we've been talking about. You ready? Let's go. First up, the title. This is your story's first impression, so you've got to make it count. There are just 3 simple rules. Keep it short and punchy, make it powerful, and most importantly, make it something that creates curiosity and makes someone want to read what you wrote. For our story, we're going to go with this: The Knock at Midnight. Think about it. It's short, it's powerful, that word midnight is a little spooky, and it immediately makes you ask questions, right? Who's knocking? Why now? It just sets this perfectly mysterious tone. Okay, on to the first part of our story structure, the exposition. This is our opening. The goal is pretty simple here. Introduce our character and the setting, but also you want to hint that something isn't quite right. Build a little bit of that atmosphere. Let's start with paragraph 1, the exposition. How can we introduce our character and setting, but also plant that little seed of danger right from the very first sentence? Okay, here's our opening paragraph. The house had never felt so silent. Arav sat alone in the living room, the ticking clock slicing through the darkness. His parents were away for the weekend, and the storm outside pressed against the windows like an impatient visitor. See what we did? In just a few lines, we know our character Arav is alone. We know the setting, a silent house, a storm outside, and we've got this tense, lonely mood that's just perfect for what's about to happen. So, how did we create that mood? Well, we didn't just say it was stormy. We used those techniques from our toolkit. We used personification, the storm pressed, and a simile, like an impatient visitor. Those 2 little tools bring the whole scene to life and create that feeling of unease right from the start. Next up, the rising action. This is where the story really starts to get interesting. We're going to introduce something unusual, something that breaks the calm and starts to build some real tension. This is where we make the reader's heart beat just a little bit faster. Okay, paragraph 2, rising action. Time to escalate things. Something strange needs to happen. How do we build that suspense and make the reader's heart beat a little faster? Here we go. Then it came. A knock. Slow, deliberate. Arav froze. Another knock followed. Louder this time. His throat tightened. No one was supposed to be there. A simple knock just became this huge moment of suspense. And notice the pacing. It's not just one event. It's a sequence designed to crank up the pressure on Arav and on us, the reader. And this is just a brilliant example of how powerful sentence structure can be. Look at those 3 short, sharp sentences. A knock. Slow. Deliberate. They almost sound like a heartbeat, don't they? And that dash adds a perfect dramatic pause before that second, louder knock. So effective. So, we've built all this tension, and now it's time for the payoff. We've reached the climax. This is the single most dramatic, most frightening moment in the entire story. It's the peak, the turning point, and after this, nothing will be the same. This has to be the most shocking, the most frightening part of the story. What is the turning point for Arav? Let's see what happens. Summoning courage he didn't feel, Arav walked to the door. He pulled the door open. No one stood outside, but muddy footprints led inside. Whoa, what a twist. That moment of relief when no one's there is just instantly shattered by the horror of those footprints. The danger isn't outside anymore, it's already inside. That is our turning point. So how did we create that shock? Well, we used more personification. Silence swallowed the room to amp up the tension right before the big reveal. And then the shock itself is delivered in that super short, simple line. It hits you just as hard as it hits Arav. Phew, okay, what happens right after that crazy moment? That's what we call the falling action. This isn't the end, but it deals with the immediate consequences of the climax. How does our character react to what just happened? Well, the reaction is pure panic. Panic flooded him. The footprints crept down the hallway toward his bedroom. The house was no longer empty. This just confirms all his worst fears. The threat is real, it's moving, and it's heading right for his personal space, his bedroom. Any sense of safety is just gone. Finally, we've made it to the resolution. This is where we wrap everything up. But a really great resolution does more than just end the story. It shows us the lasting impact this whole event had on the character.
Here's how our story ends. When the police arrived, they found nothing. No intruder, no footprints, nothing at all. But even now, years later, whenever someone knocks after midnight, Arav still feels that echo in his bones. This leaves us with such a chilling mystery. That repetition of no intruder, no footprints, nothing at all, just makes it even more terrifying. And that last line, it shows that this one event has haunted Ara for years.
And there you have it, a complete high-scoring story that ticks all the boxes. So before you write your own, use this as your checklist. Did you have 5 clear paragraphs? Did you focus on one main event? Was your climax strong? Did you sprinkle in those language techniques? And did you stay within the word limit? This right here is your key to success. If this guide helped you out, please hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Nessalingua for more tips to help you succeed. Thanks so much for watching.